Ready?
Yep.
We're so beyond blessed and so beyond excited to share with you 17 years. We're going into our 17th year of business. And time does go by fast, as we all know, especially as you get older. It seems like that it's like in a blink, in a flash, in a millisecond, we're into another year. But 17 years, Charles.
It's I think that's pretty impressive, especially like you look at how many businesses out there, they don't make it 17 years.
No.
Then you look at how many of them are niche markets that don't make it for that many years. And the fact that not only have we made it for 17 years, but we've made it not just Canadian, not just North American, but international on top of that. And there's not too many things that I would puff up my chest about, but I have to say that is one thing that I would puff up my chest about, is the fact that we made this work for this long and managed to make it international too. I think it's impressive.
Let me tell you, we're heading back to when it all began. It truly was just that little seed. I just wanted to work with horses in a completely different way. That's all I was looking for. I didn't even know what it looked like, what even existed. All I knew is I didn't want to be a riding coach, because I don't know, there just wasn't a passion there for me to do that. But I wanted to work with horses. And when equine assisted learning came into my life, I'm like, what the frick is this? Yes, this sounds so good. But it took probably, I would say, it took me a year to get certified. And I would have to say, like, I did lots of doubting, like, do I need to be a trainer? Is this really for me? Because I wanted my last breath on this earth to be something where I was an entrepreneur, because I love being self-employed. I love being my own boss. I want to make my own decisions for my life. I want my own holidays when I want them. And I want to make my own money the best way I can. But, it was still, I don't know if this is for me, because that training thing, I really thought you have to be a horse trainer. And that's just not my gift.
Yeah.
So once I started understanding through Tamara McKinnon that no, you don't need to be a horse trainer, I thought, okay, this is something that's very doable. But I didn't know any IT whatsoever. I really didn't. And I think maybe it was coming in. My mother even knew more than I did about the computer.
Yeah.
And then I had met Carolyn at the Strathmore Agricultural Society, which is the Strathmore Heritage Day Stampede, third largest rodeo in the world. Me and my family, actually, we were in that for 10 years. And it all started just by doing volunteering. All I was doing was wanting to create Vegas with the lights at Strathmore. Because if you're the third largest rodeo in Canada, by cracky, you got to have some fun family stuff. So we had like the dunk tank and the sheep shearing and pie eating contests. Like, we went way back to the olden time fair. And then Carolyn came into my life at the Heritage Days. I think it was probably the 8th year in. So in this time, I'm getting to know her. But at the same time, I was very cautious, because it came from somebody that I don't respect very much, that she was interested in a job at the Egg Society at the Strathmore Heritage Day Stampede. So at the time, I had said to Steve, who is also partnering with me in the managing of the Strathmore Heritage Day Stampede, I said, we're going to let this person come in, but we're not going to hire her. There's no way in God's green earth that this woman is going to be hired, because it's not going to work with the what do you call them? Frenemy.
Yeah.
That we knew.
So it was interesting though, because I wasn't too sure about it either, because I hadn't heard all best things about Gary. And I mean, even when you're starting anything new like that, the business that I had just come out of was not a friendly, nice place either. So, you kind of get burned enough times. You're a little apprehensive about the people that you're going to work with. But it turns out I'm a fantastic interview, and they couldn't not hire me. So they kind of started from there. But it took us a few months
to trust
each other and kind of get, okay, no, she will show up for work and she's not an ass or anything else like that. So it took us a while to get there. But once we did, we realized we both had the same, I think it was work ethic, really.
Yeah.
Is what it boiled down to, that we both wanted to get a job done and get it done right. And we wanted heritage days to work. And then when this whole thing came along, Carrie told me, I'm going to do this thing working with horses. And I thought, oh, that's super cute, because I knew nothing about horses.
Yeah.
Nothing at all.
Literally flat palmed me. Like,
Yeah.
I
Oh,
was like
that's so
a
nice.
fluffy, weird cake, even though I was managing and running heritage days. Why she would think I would get into anything fluffy, I do not understand, but she doubted.
Yeah, I
She
did.
doubted. But the reason I wanted Carolyn on the team is because, being an entrepreneur, you are very much so innovative all the time, which means your brain never stops. Even when things go wrong, you don't let it be your sign to quit anything. So for me, it's if you find somebody in your life that's very similar. And what I mean by the similar piece is this woman would come to work no matter what. She was very loyal. She was trustworthy. And even if she was sick, and by cracky, there was some days
she was sick.
Like I even had to tell her to go to the hospital one time, because I don't like it when people don't show up. But Carolyn always showed up. So I'm like, this might be someone that I need on this new business, equine assisted learning, because this is going to be the last job that I do and create on this earth. And I thought I need her expertise, because I saw her. I would give her handwritten stuff and she'd make it all look good on the old computer.
Well, and I had, the PR background and stuff like that too. But between the two of us, we had, sorry about the dogs. Everybody.
Yeah, I'm so
just,
sorry.
It's just like a farm. There's nothing you can do.
No, so there really isn't.
Have to roll with the farm sounds, because they're standing right outside the window to bark.
Yeah.
But
don't want to move.
Between the two of us, we had marketing stuff. We had entrepreneurial business pieces. We had pretty much like a
marketing
set of knowledge
and skills
to start this business. However, it was not easy, people, at all, because this was not a regular business, I guess, to start up. How you marketed it, how your knowledge went out, or how we had to educate people. People had no idea what equine assisted learning was, or that it was even a thing. People flat palmed just like I did.
Yeah.
That's where it was. So even though we had the skills, we had experience behind us, it was the knowledge base of trying to get it out there. And it was like smashing our face into a brick wall for a solid 3 years.
It was. And I personally thought it's so weird, because it never works like this. Now I'm an entrepreneur. It's been since diapers, I swear. But when you start a business, it's always hard. Mm-hmm. You have to always make sure that you're putting in your time and being not only innovative, but motivated to do so. And I'm like, oh, but this one's going to be different. Why? Because there's a horse. So we thought.
And we were told people want this.
Yeah. Like, we're just going to show a picture of a horse and say, we got programs with a horse, and the horse is going to change your life, because the horse is the thing that's going to blah, blah, blah. Like it didn't go nowhere. So here we are keeping going down that little.
I had no idea why. We're like, why is this not working? We're doing everything right.
We weren't. And then we still had people always call us to say, my Johnny wants to take riding lessons. Where do you see on our website that we are giving? There are no riding lessons.
I think at one point we literally had the website set up, and the first thing on it at the very top, do you remember that? It was like our logo, no riding. The horses were like, stop calling us about riding.
Right? Lessons. Like, it was crazy. So lots of wasted, I guess, money, I would say. But sometimes I still believe, I don't get worried about spending money, because I just always know I'll make the money back. Even if I had to go work full time somewhere, I'm going to make the money back. So I'm never worried about that. Charles, on the other hand, she gets very concerned. So it's good. We're not partners in that way, because money really does affect how business actually runs. Because I'm just really easy going with how much money's being spent. However, it was getting pretty high up there, and we really did have to start doing something serious, because it was going to be the last job I did, but I didn't understand how I'm going to be able to do this when we couldn't even sell the darn thing. So
we were getting like little groups or here and there's and that kind of thing, like enough that we knew that it was something that could happen. We just couldn't get that linchpin piece of it to make it all really go.
That is correct, because I totally forgot about 17 years ago you do, but that's right. As soon as I was certified, I remember it took me, like I say, about a year to be able to be certified. So I understood it completely. And I had to rent a car, rent accommodations. It cost me $12,000 back in the day, 2008. Okay. Understand that, people. So at the time, I remember thinking that, what am I saying?
That you were like, how's this going to work? But then you got the clients. Like,
so my brain just is squirrel. Sorry, peeps, but it's just squirrel sometimes. So anyway, I'm finally finished. I fly home. And then on Monday, I get a call to say, hey, I just heard that you are certified and we want to hire you. We are creating a new recovery center and treatment center. And it's for Siksika Youth Medicine Lodge. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. This doesn't happen too often in business. So of course, Carolyn and we didn't even really think of the name yet. We weren't even sure of many things, but you never, ever turn down business. So yes, that is correct. We got Siksika Youth Medicine Lodge ASAP. Yeah. So we guaranteed 10 spots for Siksika Youth. And it was beautiful because they stayed in-house. So they were there for 4 months. So every 4 months they would change into, so 1 month would be all boys. Then the next month would be all girls. And it was youth at risk in recovery of drugs, alcohol, and solvents. But they did have to make their own decisions to come there, except for some were actually court mandated to actually be there. But it didn't matter. This is what sparked it, that this business is very powerful. But then after Siksika, we just couldn't get, like you said, that linchpin to be able to make anything else.
They were looking for it. They already have the knowledge that it existed. Other places had used it and that it worked really well for their recovery centers. But as far as everybody else out there, how do you sell something to people when they don't know a horse? They don't know what the horse can do for them, and they've never heard of this programming before in their entire lives. And the first thing they think, oh, they're big, scary animals. We might get hurt. There was a lot of education base that had to go into the marketing of this until we met a lovely man.
We hired out.
Yeah. And the fact of the matter is we had to figure out that we weren't selling a horse course.
Yes. And that we were a skills development company. We're not a horse organization.
No,
that's not who we are. We're not equine. We are a skills development that has the component of the equine in it for the teaching ability. But he was a hefty 2009 is when 2010, I believe, is when we hired him.
I think early on. Yeah. Well, yeah, because we were struggling.
Or 2011, whenever we
were cleaning houses.
I was hostessing.
You were hostessing. We were doing
at a restaurant that I've never in my entire life ever had that kind of a job before. But again, you do what you got to do when you have a passion that's so deep, that's burning, that you have to make work. So we did everything to make it work. But hiring that outside fella, Kent Bone,
he was beautiful for helping us see it.
$10,000 back in the day.
Yeah.
Like, I want you to think about that. So we worked our bunskies off. He told us, and you still have to do the work when you hire a coach. They don't do the work for you. But because of all that, another 10,000 when you're in the hole, as much as I was in the hole, it really didn't matter to me because we were going to make this gall darn business flipping work because we knew it would because of Siksika Youth Medicine Lodge.
Well, we saw it. We knew what it did for people.
Yes.
It's so hard to stop and turn your back on something when you can see the outcome of it. And we saw the benefit that happened regularly, and not only for our clients, for ourselves. Like, how do you turn your back on something that can help change somebody's life? You can't. That's wrong. It is. It's wrong to do it that way. So we had to figure out a way to get through it. And whether it was hostessing or cleaning houses or doing whatever it was that we had to do, but it really, having that person, because we were so into this and we could
see the forest.
We were right up against the tree. There's full blinders on. So having that person from the outside come in and let us know what we were doing
wrong.
Very wrong. And that what we had spent money on was wrong.
Wasteful.
Yep. But we kind of started to flourish after that. Once we had an
We
idea
did.
and we didn't devalue ourselves, we
No.
didn't do all those pieces anymore. And all of a sudden the world opened up in a big and different way. And that was a big part of when we started certifying people, that we were like, people won't do this.
No.
They won't. Like, I wouldn't have done it if I wasn't with Carrie. Because with that much risk, with that much money, she says things like a decimal point moves over. Like,
No, I say there's no
me.
difference between you and I, except maybe a zero.
No, that's not what you say.
Yes, for anything. Or with anybody. The only difference between 300,000 and 30,000 is a zero.
That's right.
Or two.
See 270,000 single dollars.
Yeah.
So we think of things differently, but people wouldn't do that. Like, if most people would not persevere to that point, especially because it was like smashing our head into a brick wall all the time. Every time we thought we were getting somewhere, another door slammed in our face, and then someone would come tell us that us little horse women needed a man at the front of our company, or
that was an old cowboy.
Yeah, that was funny. And then people doubted us all the time, that it was never going to be something that would work at all.
And I think no matter what, and we've talked about this so many times, because I am okay with, I don't feel it's a risk to spend money, because I'm going to die. So you see, I even felt if I was 300,000 in the hole and I die, well, I don't have to worry about it. And I'm sorry, I really believe that your family and your kids should have to look after themselves anyways. So it wasn't a big deal to me if worst case scenario happened. But, I think with being okay with all that money spent, it really helped us to develop the most extraordinary certification to me that exists now, and to us that exists. And I'm not saying I'm biased in this. I know lots of times it's like when you have your own baby, because Carolyn did that a lot with her baby. It's the most beautiful baby in the world.
She was
the most beautiful baby. Well,
I'm not even biased. She was adorable.
I am like, when I had my third daughter, I'm like, oh, you poor little thing. You're not looking too good. Yeah. That's okay. We'll put makeup on you when you're older. No, she's like that swan story. The black swan?
Ugly duckling. Not the beautiful ballerina thing.
Okay. For those of you listening, just an FYI, I get a lot of those sayings backwards, messed up, mixed up, and Carolyn is always putting them back together. And sometimes I get upset at her because she's not understanding the right saying that's supposed to be there, but I messed it up so bad, she don't have a chance.
And sometimes she messes it up so bad that I cannot bring it up any longer. What is the true piece? But I wanted to say one other thing before we just get started with Carrie and the money piece and not believing it's a risk. I can hear some of you in my head, because I was the same way and still am in some cases, saying, yeah, it's not hard to be, whimsical or not think of money as a risk when you have money. Carrie didn't have money. She wasn't rich to start out with. So that's something to understand. And it's not that you weren't destitute, but
I definitely didn't.
But you didn't have millions of dollars to sit there and be like, oh yeah, I'll just go put all this money out. So all of you who are like, oh, well, you can think that way when you have money. No, it wasn't like that either. No. She just has a different mentality that money replenishes itself, which is true. Really, it does. I have to say, after the amount of years that we spent doing this, it does. It comes through. It's kind of cool. Yeah.
But when we talk about all of those, the olden days, because those were, I really feel in my heart and soul, and I do believe you think the same way, that I was supposed to spend that money so that we did create this extraordinary piece. Yeah. And I do have to say, not only for what we give in the business and the free training and the support for the life of your career at the Equine Connection, but it's that horse. I have to say, for me, and you can speak for yourself too, Charles, but to know that we are doing this properly and for the benefit, for the welfare of the horse, that it actually makes me teary-eyed sometimes, because when you get into things with horses, you sometimes just do it and you don't even know the difference that maybe you're using or not even listening to the horse, where we have spent copious amount of hours and paying copious amounts of major professionals that we agree with, who are on the same page as us in connection and communication, that you globally know. You know these people, but it was all worth it because in this certification now we're training all of you
Yeah.
to have that welfare base to the horse, because here's this whole secret. When you can keep a horse safe, because that's the number one thing they need to feel every moment you are with them, the number one thing, if you can make them feel safe because you get them and you understand their culture and their language, then boom, now you have a safe program because now your clients will be safe.
Absolutely.
What do you think?
Well, the whole thing with the spending of the money and doing it the hard way, I think is from the business standpoint. So we knew how we had to set people up for success.
Yes.
That was a huge, the horse piece of it. Obviously, that is a big piece for us, because if you don't have a safe program, you don't have one, period. And that's all there is to it. And well, no, I won't go on my soapbox about that right
Not
now.
yet.
Not yet.
That's another podcast.
Yeah. But as far as the business side and doing everything the wrong way and the hard way, it gave us the experience to actually say not to do those pieces, or don't do it that way, or do it this way. I think without doing all of that, we wouldn't have as comprehensive of a course and as comprehensive as a business plan and pack as we do.
I agree.
Without failing so hard for a while.
And this was kind of fun to go back again, because it's retro. Like seriously, we are heading on back, because that was 2008, and we're going to be coming into our 17th year.
Yeah.
Like I just am so proud of us for sticking with it, staying always with the foundation. Yeah. Foundation is the secret to any time you're doing a business of any kind. For us to be able to get along as well as we have for 17 years is actually not really too many humans can actually do that. Like we had to get very clear in what I need, what she needs, and then how we bring it together, and integrity, doing it also honestly. Like it's been a beautiful, beautiful journey in so many levels. Like seriously, I could die now and I'd be, oh my Lord, I've had my babies. I've had a great man in my life. I have the best business in the world. I have a great person who works with me to do this. So every day is a fun, exciting adventure, even through all the bad times. Because my friends,
I'm going to say that it has not been easy.
You have to have the bad times, because that's just part of being in business for yourself, and it's just life.
Yep, it's true. And there's been lots of times where things are going great and you're high on life. There's been lots of times where things aren't going as great and you have to adjust things. But the one thing that always we've had to come back to that has always worked for us is coming back to who we are as an organization. As soon as we start going towards the almighty dollar, or, just what's not authentically us.
Yeah.
We seem to falter a little bit. So it's always coming back to who we are as people. What this business is actually about. It still is about helping people. We still don't want to just rip people off. No. And could we put up the price and just get half as many people? Yeah, absolutely we could. And would it be worth it still? Yeah. But we don't want that. We want to help bring access to horses for people all over the world to be able to move forward with their lives in a different way.
Because they desperately need it.
Yeah.
Like in this disconnected world, this is why it's so nice to go back to see how far one comes. And this is the greatest thing on earth, because there's not too many humans who actually get their dream coming true and becoming a reality, because it does take work to do it, but not that many people on this earth get to literally do it. And I think that's the most exciting thing like ever, because you wake up knowing every day what your purpose is and what it is you're doing it for. And plus, I'm sorry, but it's kind of self-full, but we get to smell the ponies. We get to be with the ponies every day. And through all the deaths that have happened in this business. And again, it's just amazing. Keep it and remember this. If this is your dream, my friends, the one thing to keep in mind, the sign is not when everything is aligning and making it all smooth and easy for you. The sign is, how do you still move through it when life sucks, or when the world is hitting you hard, or you have so many losses, your heart can't even take one more loss. And let me tell you, I've been through all of those pieces. So have you, but in different ways. That's when you really look back and say, holy Toledo's, I am that odd person in this world who says, I'm doing this. And it is for the right reason, because our world does need us.
It's so true.
So thanks. This was fun today, just to go back. Hey?
Yeah, back 17 whole years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can't
We
even
won't go look at the
imagine
pictures.
how
though.
young,
It's
how
unbelievable.
young I must have looked.
My natural hair color is very different than it is now.
But it still looks good.
It's getting there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Aging gracefully and doing what we do and loving what we do. And
Absolutely.
I think we look pretty damn good for coming from 17 years down the road.
Darn tootin'.
That's
So
right.
you could look the same.
Yeah. The only lines we got are smile lines.
That's
people.
right. That's right.
That's the way to do it. All right, everybody. Well, I hope you enjoyed this journey back in time as well. And if you have been with us for majority of this journey, thank you for being a part of our lives and our
So
equine
grateful.
family. Yeah.
You bet.
Our herd, if you will.
Yes.
All right. Have a good one, everybody.
Make it happen.